Today we are actually going to learn about job evaluation, both qualitative method, which is most common and followed in most of the public sector, and also a very objective quantified method. And you actually will be doing that, and you will appreciate that how then organizations are able to differentiate which are higher jobs and which are lower jobs. Okay, right? So what we are going to cover is essentially job evaluation. That means evaluating jobs for their worth. And we're going to talk about methods like factor method, which that is grading method, and also point rating method and Hay method, right? Essentially, both these two methods, grading method and point rating method, probably we would cover today. And Hay method I will touch upon, and then we will do a little more in detail as to how will you calculate points as per the Hay guide in the next session. Okay, guys, so on to the job evaluation. I'm sure all of you heard about job evaluation. Now, the basic document which is required, because that's the basis on which you will evaluate the job, so is called, you need a job description. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the JD, right? Just give me a thumbs up, guys, so that you know I know exactly all of you are there. So a JD, job description. So how do we get a job description? How does one create a job description? The
roles
process. Pardon?
Sorry, Nirmala, saying the roles and responsibilities which is supposed to perform, a particular person is supposed
job
to perform.
Description is a document which gives you, it's a document which gives you a good understanding of the role, responsibility, the skills required, the competencies required, and also what are the deliverables in terms of KRAs and how is it also measured, etc. It's a document which gives you in full detail, and when you actually work in that position, so every organization will give you a job description stating that this is what you need to perform. Very clear? Okay. How do we actually get a job description? How do you make a job description? What is that process which you actually do? Quick.
Skills.
Huh?
What are the skills required for the job?
No, I said, what is the process? What do you do? It's called, why am I bringing in this word? Because you should not get confused.
Job evaluation.
Job analysis and evaluation are the same. Now, job analysis is different from job evaluation. You are very clear? When you do job analysis, which is a systematic process of analyzing, logging, observing, all that stuff, you get job description. Got it? Now, once you get your job description, so job analysis is a process wherein you actually do all that logging, observation, etc. And the outcome is job description. The outcome is job description. Now, what is job evaluation? Job evaluation is an evaluation process or a judgmental process, but you can't judge without a document. So it starts with, so once you have a job description, then only you can do a job evaluation. If you don't have a job description, you can't do a job evaluation. Okay, so typically what happens, you do job analysis for various purposes. Job analysis can be done to have a job description if you want to do competency mapping. So one purpose is to understand the competency gap. Now, job analysis is done with a view of evaluating the job. Then you will actually have a standardized format of job description, wherein the purpose of this is for job evaluation, wherein you will actually factor in everything in detail. Now, somebody asked me, do we go just more by the designation, or do we go by what the job is doing? Please be very clear that whenever you're doing a job evaluation, you just don't go by the titles, because you may have titles which are just for external stakeholders. All right. So what is very, very important, do not just go by the fact that he's a senior manager, so obviously he is in a higher position. No, go by the content, go by the job description which is there. Okay, maybe sometimes when you are evaluating, you'll find that a senior manager does much lesser than actually a HR manager. Got it? Is that very clear, guys? Just a thumbs up. Just a thumbs up. Okay. Yeah. Now, when we are talking about job evaluation, it is the systematic process of determining. I'm using a word called determining what the two words, the relative worth. What is very important? Relative worth of the job in the organization. You have everything there in the PPT, but I'm just trying to emphasize the relative worth. It is not absolute worth. Is job of Adir Chaudhary, whatever position you are, is it higher as in compared to Bhupesh? That's the meaning of relative worth. Because when we are talking of evaluation, we are stacking it up. So then we are saying, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are doing a ranking kind of a thing. Okay, guys, there we go. Now, I want to give you a very easy method for job description. Typically, what happens if you start, how do you go about? Okay, let me ask you. If you were to do 500 job descriptions in your organization, how much time will you take? Anybody? How much time would you be taking?
It will take more than a week or a month, actually, 500 job titles.
Meena, are you kidding? 1 week for 500 jobs? Then tell me, how will you go about it?
That's a job. You mean like writing a job description for 500 people, you said, right? And
500 positions. 500. See, there could be a position with more number of people employed. Positions, you could have HR managers, you could have 10 people working as HR managers. You may be just writing one HR JD, right?
yeah.
So I'm saying 500 positions. How much time will you take? 3 months, 6 months?
It looks like that.
Huh? Looks like that, right? But as a consultant, let me tell you, there's a very smart way of doing it. And all consultants, be it Hewitt, be it Mercer, be it Hay, everybody uses this method. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it. Are you familiar with a site called ONET? Anybody? ONET?
Heard about it.
Heard about it. So all that you need to do is so this is an ONET site. All right, go to the internet. This is an ONET site. If you just go to this, this is how it looks first. All right, this is how it looks. All that you need to do is just put the position for which you are looking at, job description. So say, for example, I'm looking at a HR. Okay. Got it? So I have a HR manager. So I'm going to click on this. Right? If you look at it, it gives you a detailed list. It also, see, already detailed, but it also has a summary. It can also give you detail of tasks, of technology and skills required. If you look at accounting softwares and ERPs and presentation softwares, whatever, and what are the kind of work activities, all right? Detailed work activities, what is the work context, etc., etc. So if you, whatever position you want to look at, you can just go and type in that position and you will get a detailed job description. Now, will you say that I will just go ahead and use this detailed job description as is? I typically what I do is, now I will download this, then I will then attach this to all the 6 or 7 stakeholders who could be internal or external, 1 or 2 key people, and I will say add or delete.
Yeah.
Please give add or delete. If you agree, fine, well and or if you want to add more, or if you want to delete some. Then I will get in. I'll just send the Google Forms questionnaire, very easy. Then once I get them, if there is some kind of a conflict and there is no consensus, maybe I will then just talk on those 1 or 2 things, quickly get their consensus, talk about it, and then freeze it up, send it to the reporting manager. And let me tell you guys, It really doesn't take time because everything comes online, Drive. They can do the corrections. You use a Google Drive and you don't have to go back and forth, send it by email, this, that. So it saves you a lot of time. You don't have to start from zero, Please give a blank sheet and say, please write down all the things. I may remember, I may not remember. So do you think this will really work well for you all?
Yeah,
If you want to top job descriptions, and let me tell you, I've saved a couple of lakhs of rupees if you were to be given that job of writing job descriptions. Okay. So it's a very, very easy, very efficient method of doing. And you don't have to start from zero, saying a blank sheet and start listing out activities, because many will just forget what they're doing. So best to just give a job description from this ONET and then ask them to add or delete or any suggestions, etc. And then if there is a kind of a conflict or no consensus on a couple of things, then call up or send out a mail or use a Google Drive so that you're all on the same common page. Got it, guys? This is how you can be very, very quick, because this is very important. Then you can also do observation, login method, but these are very, very long methods, Today, everything you want to be very quick and there's not much of a time. Okay. So this is, yeah. Now when we are talking about
So Nirmala, before we just move on, just one question. Do we have any other website as well, similar to this ONET?
This is the best website, in fact. And it has all the jobs and positions. There's another one, devotee and all that, but you'll have to pay. But this is the best website. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, this is free. Don't have to worry. But the other ones, one or two, you have to pay. This is very, very detailed and comprehensive. Okay. Yeah. So this will give you just a little understanding in terms of how, you do a job analysis and then you get a job description, and then we do the job evaluation, where I've actually, again, reiterating that job analysis is a systematic process of collecting information to do a job description, because the outcome of job analysis is job description. All right. Now, the outcome of job evaluation is what? Anybody? Let me see if somebody recalls. Outcome of job analysis is job description. What is the outcome of job evaluation?
It will help us to bifurcate.
You will get either qualitatively or quantitatively, the outcome is the job worth. Because when we do a job evaluation, quantitative method, then you will get something called points, total point value. A job could be 400, another job could be 300. So higher the points, higher is the job. Lower the points, lower is the job. Okay? Done. Now, how will you do a job evaluation? Now, I will just go to, so that you are very clear. First, make you understand a little. The first step one in job evaluation. Now we are going to look at two methods, that is grading method and point method. Okay. The first step in grading method is identifying compensable factors. Compensable factors. What are they? Compensable factors. So what are compensable factors? Factors, oh my God, factors for which you actually pay salary. Can you give me an example of these compensable factors? Let's see. They're typically job characteristics and also evolved from the vision, mission, and the business strategy of the organization. I'm giving you cues. Say, for example, if an organization want to differentiate in terms of their product, etc. Okay, product differentiation. I will say that I will give more focus to creativity and innovation. So that will be one of the compensable factors. So likewise, can you give me some examples?
Education, maybe, and experience.
So when we talk about compensable factors, higher the requirement, higher the job. Lower the requirement, lower the job. But they should run across all the jobs within the organization. But if there is any factor which is of the same intensity across all the jobs, then that is not a compensable factor. For example, education, somebody mentioned. For lower jobs, I'll say lesser education. For higher jobs, I will say higher education. Or for example, experience. Or for example, product knowledge, span of control. So let me just take you to the list of compensable factors. Yep. So knowledge levels.
Maybe some specific skill actually.
Skills required, right? Yeah, somebody was mentioning something. Yeah, please.
Specific skills actually, which can be taken as a compensable factor.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Creativity. I just told you, an organization want to have product differentiation. It can have creativity and innovation, right? Budget controls. A CFO will have a higher budgetary control, and a finance officer will have maybe much lesser. Will you agree?
Yeah.
And number of reporting people also. Higher the job, more number of people reporting.
Yeah, supervisory role.
Yeah, business impact as well, right? All India sales and marketing manager will have a higher business impact as in an area sales manager who's responsible for a particular area. Dollar impact or financial impact. So client interactions, more number of client interactions or much value added client interactions. Effort required. Okay, so typically in general, you could look at what? Education, both technical and managerial and people kind of skills required. Then you could look at what? Effort. You could look at responsibility. So when I say effort, physical effort, mental effort, right? When I say responsibility towards your manpower, towards the material, towards machinery, you agree? Then working conditions. So these are some of the compensable factors. That is the step one. Okay. Then when we are doing job grading, I decide on the number of grades. And then I start writing descriptors and then analyze or evaluate the jobs. Let me take you, because you would be doing that, let me take you to an example now. I hope you have got that attachment wherein Wilma sent you the, what is it? 1 second.
Job descriptions.
Job descriptions, guys. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I'm just going to open it for you all. 1 second.
Nirmala?
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, you are saying something?
No, I thought you were telling me something.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you see my sheet? Okay. Now what you're going to do is one of the method which is called job grading. Job grading is the quantitative method. It's a qualitative method. You're looking at the job as a whole. You're not breaking the job into various parts. So how do we go about doing job grading as a job evaluation technique? Step 1, identify compensable factors. So can you just, anybody, I've identified 4 compensable factors. What are they here?
Education, experience, span of control.
Creativity, just for simple. No? So in the exercise you will be given, I want you to identify 4 compensable factors. Now, step 2. Then what will you do? Determine as per your requirement, how many grades you want. Do you want just a narrow grade saying 10, 15 grades, or will you have a broad band like just 4 or 5 grades? Now, for the exercise you're going to do, please have just 4, I'll say, okay, 5 grades. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5. That means grade 1 will be the lowest and grade 5 will be the highest. Okay. Step 2. What is the step 2? Determine the number of grades. Very clear?
Okay.
Okay. Step 3. You have to write descriptor for every grade. What does that mean? Now I have identified saying that these are my 4 compensable factors. But then at different levels of jobs, my requirement for education will be different. Agreed? Huh? So maybe at grade 1, I'll have a lower level of education. But at grade 5, I will have a different level of education. So you need to write a descriptor. That means we are trying to create a template. Okay. For example, education at a grade 1, if it's an engineering organizations I'm looking at with jobs, I said ITI. A grade 2 will be an engineer. Grade 3 will be engineer plus certifications. Grade 4 will be a postgraduate. Grade 5, probably I'll have an engineer and an MBA as well. Okay. Experience 0 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 10, so likewise. Span of control, grade 1, it is an IC, individual contributor role. Grade 2 will have a very small team. Grade 3, I'll have a span of control. Grade 4, higher control. Grade 5, a little more higher. Creativity, at a grade 1, I said low. Grade 2, I'll say hey, low, medium. Grade 3, high. Again, grade 4, medium, high, depending. So, what have I done now? After having identified my compensable factors which are running through all the positions in the organization, I've said then I will like to have 5 grades. Then I've also written descriptor saying which grade will require what kind of level of intensity of education or experience or span of control. You may ask me, but why write descriptors? Now, when you're evaluating, which is the last step, 4th step, when you're evaluating your jobs or positions based on their job description, how will you assign that this job has to be in grade 1 or grade 2 or grade 3? It's only based on these descriptors. Are you with me, guys?
Yeah.
So therefore, whenever you are actually creating a job description for the purpose of job evaluation, it's very, very important that all the details with regard to the compensable factors also have to be factored in the job description. So most of the consulting companies, be it Mercer, Hewitt, so they have a lot of rigor in the way they have this job description format for job evaluation. It's a standardized format which will capture all these things, which will capture descriptors of education. Say, for example, I'm evaluating a job, senior director of brokerage, and I've actually not factored in span of control or experience or creativity. Now, how am I going to actually then map him to which grade? Are you with me now? Yeah. So therefore, typically when you're doing this exercise within your organization, you need to have one standardized format of job descriptions, okay? Capturing all the data. You can't have, for one position, you have a different format, and another position, you have a different format. You have to have a common format and let it be as extensive with everything in detail, so that when you evaluate, you have all the details with regard to the descriptors which you have already identified for your job evaluation technique. So then what will you do? So now that you have how many positions, I'm just able to look, I think about 10 to 12 positions. You will be in 3 groups. What you need to do is, please, one of you in the group will have to create an Excel format where you are identifying 4 compensable factors, and you're writing 5 grades just like this, you have to create. And then you have to write descriptors. Now, after having done that, then I want you to then, what will you do? Do job evaluation of those positions and write here. Like say, for example, under grade 1, maybe you have something like a senior HR officer. Okay. Then, oh, sorry. Stop sharing. Yeah. Okay. So map your positions into the respective grades after you have done the job evaluation. Any questions, guys? I will be helping you. So there are 3 groups, I guess, if I'm right. And so I want you all to be in your groups. And the first thing, what will you do? Step 1, identify your compensable factors after having a look at the positions. Then write 5 grades just like this. Then write the descriptors. And then quickly start looking at the positions and start mapping them to their respective grades. Got it? Can I have, we have 3 breakout rooms, right? So breakout, yeah, room 1, can you just put up your Excel sheet?
So Nirmala, we have the compensable factors as education, experience, span of control, and complexity.
Right.
We have gone through all the JDs of that of finance, HR, as well as IT, and the factory, that is project management, and we have slotted them as per the the table that we have mentioned over here. When we say and these are the designations we have slotted in. So when we say project engineer, quality analyst, they are the lowest grade, that is grade 1, and we say that a diploma holder can be the lowest education with an experience of around 0 to 2 years, because the complexity is very low in this particular grade. Moving on to grade 2, wherein we say factory HR, quality management, administrator, etc., wherein the complexity is low to medium. Of course, he or she will be an individual contributor, and experience level will be 2 to 4 years. Here we are taking education level as graduate or bachelor's in respective fields. Moving on to grade 3. Grade 3 will be somewhere around PG, postgraduate or masters within the respective fields. We can also have here the graduates or bachelors in the respective fields, but with certifications. Here we are saying 5 to 10 years of experience, and they can have a small team up to 10 members, because the complexity will be medium. It will be and the designations here we are looking at is HR manager or a finance manager or a project lead. Grade 4 and grade 5 are the highest or high to critical level of complexity. More than 10 years of experience is what we are looking at, and a span of control of up to 50 here we are saying for specifically a project management kind of a role. Of course, when it comes to an HR or a finance, it can range between 10 to 30 or 10 to 20 as well, depending upon the function that we are dealing in. Last one is grade 5. We are saying PG, masters, as well as PhD, more than 15 years of experience. Of course, it will be the highest complexity, and therefore the designations here we are looking at is a CFO or a CTO or a service delivery leader or a plant HR, etc.
Yeah, I think you've done an excellent job in a very short time. So typically organizations take a longer time, and you are given just about 20 to 30 minutes. So essentially, when you look at, you have actually categorized based on this job evaluation exercise, the number of positions, maybe how many, about 20 or so, you have classified them into different grades. Good job, guys. So can we have the other breakout room 2 present? But don't give me in detail so that we will save on time. Now that you're getting the feel of what is job grading.
Nirmala, we will be presenting it, so I will invite Bhupesh to present this. I'm sharing my screen. Bhupesh, I would like please do present this as you discussed.
Great. Somebody's already done this job, which I wanted. Now the next sheet. This group has already done this, which I wanted them to do this. Okay.
Okay, so we will
Lovely.
be looking at
Yeah.
only the compensable factors and essentially to look at the job title and in correspondence to the total rewards that we may give in future. In that context, the compensable factors are span of support. Essentially, we would like to bring a different perspective. That's the reason span of support instead of span of influence or span of account. And then there is a span of accountability. Span of accountability is looking at it could be a financial accountability, or it could be operational accountability, or customer commitment accountability. So more from that angle. And complexity of the role is more of the scale, complexity, and the pace that organization is operating in that context, the complexity of the role.
Wonderful.
And skill sets are more towards the unique skill sets where we have to pay premium and very difficult to hire. In that context, the skill set is one of the compensable factor. And decision making, whether it is a decision is independent decisions or dependable decisions are there, or decision have an impact on the business as well as the operation and the continuity of the business.
Absolutely.
In that context, the compensable factors are there. And then we looked at the various job families which are mentioned.
Yeah,
We picked up
excellent.
2 each, and then we factored into the under the various levels. So I will not go because to save the time.
Yeah. This is excellent. You have taken 10 positions and actually classified them. Very good job done. I think both the groups have done an excellent job, guys. Very good job. Yeah. Can we have the other group? Excellent.
Yeah, I'll share my screen and I'll invite Ratna to maybe present.
Okay. Okay. I will actually invite break 2 room just to showcase their Excel sheet. Guys, you can see breakout room 2's, not that the others have done. I'm just using their data. Okay. Excellent job by all the groups. Yet to see the grade. So what have you done? You have identified compensable factor. Then you have looked at grades. Now these grades, you need to look at them based on your own organization. Here, just for the sake of learning this technology, and since we don't have much time, I said just limit yourself to 5 grades. All right. We were not looking at subgrades as well. And then we asked you to look at 10 positions, classify them or map them into their respective grades, which the breakout 2 room has done. Okay. Now, what have you done? You know exactly that a factory HR executive is in grade 1, so he has to be paid less. Or a head IT infrastructure is in grade 5. Higher the grade, you pay him more because his job is more complex. But what still we need to do, we have to actually fix the salary ranges or pay grades for those grades, right? Right now, we have only done trying to map them into their respective grades. So when I say grade 1, how many jobs are here? Only 1 job is here. In grade 3, 1, 2, 3 jobs are there. Okay. So what does it mean? That all the jobs which are there in a particular grade are of equal worth. Will you agree? All jobs which are there in a particular grade, say for example, in grade 3, there are 3 jobs. So they are of equal worth. Now, how will you assign salary or pay grades? How will you assign salary? So we do something called cluster analysis. So how will we do cluster analysis? So first, you have rightly done, put all the positions and grades. Now, next, you just put some, I'm sure Bhuvnesh would know typically, here we will go hypothetically, put salaries per month. So we'll need market data. So next to grades, write just market data and please put in, say, salary per month. Going by, just write factory HR executive, some salary per month.
How much actually shall I put?
So the group can decide and start putting it. All of you can actually help Bhuvnesh or whoever is doing Meena.
Yeah, so what shall we give for HR executive? Shall I give 15,000?
Per month, so you can just put them there. Yeah.
Senior manager, guys, please support
So I
me.
think better you put a range rather
No,
than.
don't put a range per month. We are looking at midpoint, an
Okay.
average salary.
Got it.
Okay, we are not looking at min and max. So whenever we are looking at a market salary, you will typically
Blindly
get a
putting it,
midpoint
I
or
know
a
the
median.
highest thing. Director of Finance.
But ensure that jobs which are in grade 3 are of similar salaries. Grade jobs which are in grade 4 are a little higher. The variance is not much.
Yeah.
Okay, what shall we prove?
Yeah, 3 and 4, the range is very high. Better you bring that to 75 or 70.
Which one? Fourth one.
Fourth.
How much? 70?
70.
Manager. Yeah, 70.
Okay, fourth ka 70. This also shall I change it to 70?
No. I think IT senior manager is slightly more expensive in the market.
Okay.
I mean, skill set wise.
Second, first I 15,000. I'll just put it second as a 25,000. I'll put
5,000.
25 should be okay. Quality.
25. And this is service delivery lead. This is again IT. So shall I put 30,000 for this?
Service delivery leader.
Again, it's IT actually.
I think service delivery leader. I think should be a grade 3 or a grade 4. Normally, service delivery leader is.
At least.
Okay, I'm giving you that. Okay, you can, if you want, you can make changes if you want to. Okay.
Thank you so much.
But you don't do like that in organization, right? Okay. Because we look at all the descriptors and that.
Okay.
Done? All right.
Yeah,
because we want to
let's
learn the
revise it to 50
technology.
as well.
So
Let's make that
typically what happens now,
50
you
as
want to assign what? Min and max salary ranges, right? For every grade you want to fix. Right now you have just done the grade allocation, like these positions in their respective grades. Now what, Meena, are you doing the work? Okay.
Yeah,
Now what you do, now you select this grade and market data without grades and market data, just the data, okay? That is, select the data without the labels.
Yeah.
Now go to insert both the grades and also the market data. Select the data, go to insert, then go to graphs, select scatter. Yeah, click on that. First one. Yeah, click on that. Now do a trend line. I'm sure you know how to do a trend line. Put a trend line.
I'm sure, like I'm not the
Okay, right click for a trend line.
No, right click. Yeah.
Just do a right click and
Yeah,
then go down. Down, then you'll have a trend line. No. Just go again. No, will you redo it again? Just redo it again. Select the data again. Okay.
I have mentioned in the new break. I think it'll not be a trouble, right?
Can you actually do one? Can you first of all organize your grades?
Sort by grade. Grades, yeah.
Done.
1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now select data, insert, go to first one. Okay. Now click on any job position.
Yeah.
Click on any job position. Click on blue dot. Then do a right click. Then if you can see add trend line. Yes. And linear. Okay. Now make it bigger. You can close this format trend line. You can close that window. Great. If you want, you can make it a little bigger for people to see. What is this? This is called a scatter graph. Okay. Let me tell you guys, it's always nice to do a scatter graph. Then you will know exactly how are your positions aligned with the market data. Okay. So the closer the positions are to this, which is actually called a pay line, closer, that means, it's a very good fit. The further away they are, that means on the ground, the way you're paying is nowhere near to what they market. But this is a nice, good fit, except for few positions. Excellent. Now, if you look at how do you then make the salary pay bands or salary grades? So what you need to do is now look at how many positions are there in your grade 1. In your grade 1, there's only one position, right? There's only one position. You can actually look at your market data here. So this is your one, and it is around 15,000. Yeah. If you look at, you can read the graph, 15. So now you're starting to create. Yeah. If you go down and start writing, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, we'll only limit to 3 grades right now. The rest you can do. So 3 grades. So you want to do a min and a max. So how do you develop that min and max? Okay. So in grade 1, you have only one position. So you are saying, so you will create grade 1. So the starting is 15. 15 to at best you can have, what is that? 25. So your grade 1 will be, there, great. Put grade 1, min will be your 15 and max will be your 25.
15 to 25.
We can do 4 grades so that if there's something to teach there, I will teach. Yeah.
Sorry, grade 1, right? Yeah.
No, why don't you do like this? No, just as the way you have put here, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, you can have them vertically. No.
Is it right? Is it done right?
That's the way I wanted. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And next to grade 1, you can have your min and max now. Min will be MIN. Yeah. Min will be your 15 and max will be your 25. Okay. Where's that graph? You need to look at that.
Yeah,
graph.
I kept the graph here. It's here.
No problem. Now look at your grade 2. What is your grade 2 lower position? If you look at that position and 2, it's no, you can read the graph. It's 25, right? Yeah. It is 25. And your fourth, grade 3. Where does it? Grade 3. 45, 50. Isn't it 50?
Not getting it. Grade 1, 15 to 20.
Can you see grade 2 is 25. Grade 2 is 25. Yeah.
Grade 3 is 50.
25. Yeah. And grade 3 is 45. 50? Is it 50?
Yeah, 50.
Yeah, it is 50.
Yeah. You can put there. First, we will just go by what the data is reflecting. Then I'll tell you what.
Grade 3, right? Grade 3 is...
No. Grade 2. We are looking at grade 2 now.
Grade 2 is 20... Yeah, how much is the minimum?
Yeah, 25. How much is it? 25.
25.
And then 55. Okay. Now let's go to grade 3. Grade 3.
50.
Starts at, 55. And so you have an overlap there. Now let me show you what you all are doing. So yeah, so just leave a blank purposely. Now go to grade 4. Okay. Now grade 4. So if you notice that your grade 4 is also almost like 55 or 53. Okay. And your grade 6 is again lower. So, and your grade 5, 45. You want to start it with 45. Okay. So when you have a position like this, what will you do? You will go back to the drawing board. You will check the job description with the market job description and see what is the kind of a salary. So therefore, somewhere you need to again go to a blackboard and see, hey, can you see what is this position? Grade 5. Can I see? Grade 5, grade 5. Yep. This position, which is almost grade 5, 45. No, sorry.
Nirmala, for grade 3, service delivery leader, I think it should go up. It was not revised from 30 to 50.
No, that's what I'm just trying to show you that,
Yeah.
Now, can you see?
So,
can you see?
Yeah.
Now, you also have to again look at these positions. Why are all the positions almost similar but different grades? You have a grade 3, you have a grade 4, you have a grade 5, almost all of them with a similar salary. So, on the ground, when you actually do realistically a job evaluation, you're always going to the market and seeing, am I comparing apples to apples? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. But, okay. So now, can you actually, yeah. So what happens typically when we do this kind of an exercise of trying to fix salaries? What do you do? First of all, you take a scatter graph and then see if your positions are somewhere higher positions are getting a lower salary. So those are the positions for which you need to look out and say, hey, let me go back and check whether I'm actually comparing my position with the similar market position in the market and look at the salary. So if you notice there is an anomaly of grade 3 position, grade 4 position, grade 5 and grade 6. Got it? Is that clear? Now, having said that, can you go back to that data what you have shown? We were fixing the salary ranges, right? Let me just show you here. Now, you have something like in grade 1, 15,000 to 25,000. Okay. Now, 25,000 to 55,000, min and max. Now, on the ground, how do you actually check for validation in terms of should I have this as my max and should it start here? What will you do typically? You will also do some mechanical tweaking. What is that mechanical tweaking? For example, I'll take a grade 2. I'll actually see, hey, what is the an average performer? What is the number of years he is going to stay in grade 2? Say, for example, what's the difference between 25,000 and 55,000? Can you just put this figure in this?
30.
How much?
30.
30,000, right? Now, say, for example, in grade 2, the number of years a person is going to be an average performer, 4 years. And after 4 years, he gets promoted. Okay. And on an average, he will get an increment of 2,000 rupees. Or say 3,000 rupees. You have to actually look at your promotion policy. You have to actually look at your increment policy. Then if you are saying we'll stick to 2,000 rupees. So 2,000 rupees and 4 years. So 4 into 2 is how much? 8,000. So what you're going to do, grade 2 will have sub-bands, 25,000 to what? Add up 8,000 and have one. So grade 2A and then grade 2B. Are you with me?
Yeah.
You want to start your 30,000. You don't want to have you want to have 2 grades there, grade 2A and grade 2B. So from 25,000 to add plus 8, how much is it? That will be your grade 2A.
33,000.
How much? No. The difference between 55 to 25,000 is 30,000.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to have a very big grade of 30,000 in your grade 2. You want to have 2 grades, A and B. How are you going to do that mechanically? By taking into consideration the number of years a person is going to stay in that grade. So, okay. So typically in organization, that's how you do it, to create a band. So now that it is 30,000, you can have 2 grade 2A will be 25,000 plus 8,000. Then grade 2B will be 25. 8 is how much? How much is it? 20? 33, right? Yeah. So your grade 2A will be 25 to 33,000. Grade 2B will be again 33,000 to, you can have 55,000.
Shall I mention this here?
Yeah, absolutely. You change that one, 55,000 to 33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grade 2A and grade 2B, right?
Yeah. Now, what happens normally? Organizations may not have positions at that point of time. So therefore, you may not have any, like for example, in grade 1, you have just 1 position. Okay. But later on, you cannot actually create a grade structure based on the present position. You always need to make a grade structure based on what am I going to actually, keeping into consideration the scale and scope of the organization. Now, so it doesn't mean that because you don't have any position, you're not going to have any grades there. So sometimes what happens, it might be very blank. You don't even have a grade 3, but you definitely have to make consideration for your grade 3. Now, grade 3, 55,000 to what is the upper limit?
Grade 3.
You'll have to see in the scattergraph. It's the easiest way.
Grade 3, it's here,
Yeah.
50,000.
So definitely it needs a correction here, because obviously your grade 4 itself is having a salary which is much lower than or as much as grade 3. So
It's
you
a
need to go
CVT
back to the drawing boards to see, to check, just check if you want to increase that salary there.
For
I
grade
think,
3.
Nirmal, I don't think it's the axis which is showing as 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Those are not the grades. Those are the serial numbers in the graph.
No, we have not picked it, right? We only picked
You have not picked it, but the graph is actually picking the serial numbers.
numbers
Oh,
Check.
because it's
have
a
you?
Roman, right?
Can we do it again?
Yes.
Because then, please, otherwise you'll get it. Yeah.
I'll do one thing. I'll just change it to numbers actually. What do you say?
Yeah, that will be better. Absolutely.
The Roman-
What you do is you put your grades as proper 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
5.
there's a numeric cell put actually. 1, 2, 3, and 3, 3, and 3.
Good observation. I know. Otherwise, yeah.
No, I was also thinking the same thing, but fine. I'm just removing this now.
Excellent. Absolutely, you are there. My God. I was wondering why is it coming like that, and I can see the data is different.
Who's it addressed it actually? Who's the gentleman?
Narayan, I think
Narayan.
Narayan addressed.
Someone else equally pointed it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, click on any position and you will get that. Just click on that, right click, add trend line, and that's it. Absolutely. Great. Now you have it.
We are right then. We're right.
Can you do the corrections? Let's see now.
You mean the correction here?
No, we were making the grades, salary bands. We were actually looking at the, wrong graph and trying to make the adjustments.
15,000 grade 1 minimum.
Yeah.
So,
So grade 1 will be 15,000 to 25,000. That's good enough. Grade 2 will be 25,000 to 55,000.
55,000.
Right? Yeah, now you have really good data. And grade 3 will be again 55,000 to 75 or something like that, if I'm right.
Sorry, like I'm not going there. So
This is good
grade,
data.
I'll remove this
Absolutely
A and B. Grade 2, 25,000 to 50.
Grade 2, yeah, 255 or 56, 55, I think. First, we'll do the broad bands like grade 2, then we'll do the sub bands.
Okay, this is grade 3.
Yeah.
This is medium. What is it? Trend lines. 55. Huh? Starting minimum is 55, grade 3.
Right, right. And then you can have, what is it, 70?
70.
Yep.
Grade 4.
Grade 4. Okay, we'll just total grade 4. Okay.
I think at you, we have to leave it.
Yeah. Okay. Grade 4 will complete.
For 72, 80,000 actually it is. Or like 1 lakh.
1 lakh. Okay, that's good enough. Now forget about the difference. Now, so having done this, now what happens? You can also now look at, say for example, I'll just give one example where we were doing grade 2. The difference between 25,000 and 55,000 was something like 30,000, right? So, but on the ground, you also have to look at the number of years a grade 2 person, an average performer, is staying and he gets promoted, say 4 years, 5 years. So, if he is getting an increment of 2,000 rupees, then you need to count that increment of 2,000 rupees multiplied by say 3 years or 4 years, and then get into make a grade 2A and grade 2B. So that is how organizations then start working on subgrades. So the initial grades may not have so many subgrades, but as you keep going higher and higher, you may have 2 subgrades. For grade 3, you can have 3 subgrades. For grade 4, you will still continue with 3 subgrades. Okay. Now, why is it important to fix the salary band of min and max? If you have to recruit a person in a particular grade, then what is the salary you're going to fix? So it's very, very important to fix the salaries of min and max. Then 2, what is the benefit of having grades? You can actually allocate your benefits, perks, etc. based on the grades. Like for example, a grade 1 person is entitled for maybe an HRA, maybe a car allowance, internet allowance. So based on the grades, you can also then say grade 1 is entitled for this allowances, grade 2 for this, grade 3, both amount and also the kind. Okay, guys. Any clarifications now? What is that on job grading? Any clarifications?
We all in different organizations we see. Say for example, a person with a 20 years of experience, they are maybe still in grade 1.
Yes.
And so how is this, like, how do we, like, what I want to know is, though we have different grading system in different organizations, where say one of the the factors that we have determined is compensable factor is the number of years of experience. So there are cases where, even in a grade one, a person with 15 years of experience is still there. And maybe in a higher grade, a person with a less years of experience. Also, when we are giving these perks like a car allowance or a mobile eligibility and all, on what factors do they fall on? Like, do they get decided? Like, is it complexity of the job, or is it like you are in a higher grade, so you're eligible for a car allowance, or how is it?
So typically when you're actually giving benefits, they're based on the grade. So the benefits are given based on your grades. For example, a car allowance or driver allowance are given to people who are in a higher grade. They're not, because you have already taken complexity into consideration when you're doing a job evaluation, and you have mapped them into their respective grades.
Okay.
Is that understood, Sudeshna?
Yes.
You talked about complexity, and you also said how is the benefits done.
Yes.
Step 1, you have already graded them based on the complexity.
Yes.
Step 2, after having done them into those grades, higher the grade, higher the benefit. Lower the grade, lower the benefit. Right? For example, a guy at a higher grade may have a higher amount of internet or higher amount because you have to use, but at a lower grade, or for example, a travel allowance, a guy in a lower grade may be just entitled for, say, a bus or a train, but in a higher grade, he will be entitled for airfare. So those are the differentiations.
Right.
Okay. Now you talked about something else. You said there may be a position which is there, there may be people who are there for 15 years or 20 years in a lower grade.
Yes.
Okay. For example, a driver. Now, a driver may be there, in a non-exempt kind of a thing. He's been there for many years.
Right.
Okay. The job as such cannot be upgraded, no? Okay. So when you are making pay structures, you also have to take into consideration, because there are different kind of pay structures. So you need to take into consideration, like for example, in a factory setting, in a production, in a manufacturing organization, you will take people who are all workers and supervisors into one pay structure, because the job growth as such, a worker can at best become a supervisor. That's it, first line supervisor. That's it, right? But he'll be there for many years. He can be there for 15 years, 20 years. Doesn't mean that he'll be going into higher grades. Are you with me?
Yes.
So I also need to take into consideration, classify and segregate those jobs which are going to be there for a longer time, but will not grow. So I cannot put them into the same structure, like an IT and ITS. They are different categories altogether. So I can't have same pay structures for both of them.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Any other clarification?
Nirmala, just to build
Yeah.
on what Sudeshna mentioned.
Yeah.
So, for example, the set of drivers, or for a couple of years they are in the same role, they have reached to the saturation point, but how about the inflation and the incremental needs that individual have to encounter, which will have a impact on overall compensation strategy, what we majority of people we are driving for, and there are a few set of people who will influence the entire thing. So how to go about it, and is there any provision that grandfathering or any additional thing that we do for them, how we should capture that?
Yeah, Bhupesh, I didn't want to put everything together and packed up. We are coming to that because see, your question is very, very pertinent. For example, if a driver, so what do I do? So because a lot of people who actually reach, there are certain principles, the red circle, the green circle. So when they reach the end of why is it important to have, first of all, grades? Then when they reach to the maximum of the grade, are you still going to give increments? What are you going to do then? How are you going to deal with them? We'll talk about all those things. And if they are critical people, then how will I actually then upgrade them, upskill them? We'll look at those issues as well. Right now, what did we look at? One simple technology called job grading. How do I actually, first of all, look at the number of positions? How do I grade them? And then fix min and max to those grades. That's it. Simple. We are going from basic, then we'll go to complex. Then what is the benefit of grades? Because when you are actually assigning salary grades, it gives you that min and max salary ranges to actually do a fitment of the person. And the grades also help you to then benefits. How will you assign benefits? How will you give benefits to people? So benefits, the entire basis of benefits is grading system. Higher the grades, higher the benefits, lower the grades, lower the benefits. Okay, simple. All right. So we are getting to a 4:20. Guys, you want a small break or can we carry on?
A small break.
Small break, okay, because we're going to do 4:21 now. Can we come back 4:30? Huh?
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Yes.
because we have very little time. Great.
Okay.
Okay.
And Nirmala ma'am, I have one question with respect to this rating or grading system.
Yeah.
So is it advisable to have more number of compensable factors, or
I'm going to actually do that when I'm doing a point plan system.
Okay.
Definitely, absolutely. Then I'll actually tell you, hey, what is the challenge when you have more number of compensable factors? Okay.
Nirmala, are we going to cover Hay group in this session, or Hay guide chart? Like, there are, 3 compensable factors, and, every factor has again few
Points.
sub-factors, points, and so are we going to touch upon that in this session?
Yeah, this is, who is this? This is
Ratna. Yeah.
So today what we are going to do is a point method,
Point factor.
which is exactly like a Hay method. Points. Okay?
Right. Yes.
And then in the next session, Hay, I will showcase to you saying that Hay has these compensable factors, while when we are doing a point method, we are actually identifying compensable factors, then doing the point system, evaluating, etc. Okay?
But Hay is more complex one, right? Because it has, lot of complexity when defining the compensable factors. And it has a typical chart given by the Hay group, which we need to follow it.
No, that the point I'm trying to make is what we are going to do today is a
point factor
method. Point
okay
method,
okay
where we will be doing our own identifying compensable factors, which we have already identified, and using that to quantify the positions and assign point values to the positions. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And do a regression and prediction of salaries. Now, what you are talking about is, are we going to do Hay method? I don't have to identify compensable factors. It comes already. there is they have already identified compensable factors, which those three, and with the sub, and then you have a entire what is it pre
Chart.
planned all the points. Okay, you don't have to do
Yes.
anything. All that you need to do is what? Take the job description, evaluate, circle, and there's a methodology where how you will actually then quantify those numbers. Okay.
Right. That will be.
I will show you that how we do that. But otherwise, the methodology is the same as what we are going to do. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Nirmala.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay,
Thank you.
Ratna.
Yeah,
Take
bye.
care. All right, guys. Welcome back. So what we did was we did the grading, and then we did the cluster. This is what we did. We looked at all the positions. We then classified them into respective grades. Then we took market salary. And then what did we do? We did a cluster analysis, wherein then we were able to fix pay grades for those grades. Say, for example, grade 1, the min and the max, grade 2, min and max. So, and also when you're fixing grades, you need to take into consideration that on the ground, what is the practice, what is the tenurity, how many years an average average employee is going to stay there, what is the stay period, and what is the increment per year, and then multiply with that and ensure that your grade actually takes in that many years, so that the band allows him to stay for that many years. So that's how you do, and then you can do the benefit planning based on the grades. Then the required amount you can allocate, saying reimbursements, it could be mobile, travel stay, etc. Now, the most interesting job evaluation technique is called point plan. I don't know how many of you have heard of it. Of course, some of you are talking about A plans, so I'm sure you've heard of it. Job grading was a qualitative method. Okay, while point plan is a quantitative method. You are assigning points. For example, if I'm saying HR manager 400 points, so that means it has a quantification number. Total point value of this HR manager 400 points. And if I say, for example, in HR team lead 220 points, so the job with the higher points is a higher job and you pay more, and the job with the lower points is a lower job, so you pay less. Now, the process has some similarity, but definitely it's a huge difference thereafter. Now, it starts with identifying compensable factors. Step 1. I'll just put here. Step 1. What is it? You can also please take a picture because you will be doing it later. Step 1 is identifying compensable factors, which is the same as in job grading. For example, I have identified education, work experience, span of control, creativity as 4 compensable factors. Now, someone asked me, ma'am, can I have more number of compensable factors in my job grading? No. What is the challenge you found when you are actually doing job grading? You are, I'm sure, having a dilemma as to, should I put this position in grade 1 or should I put this position in grade 2 sometimes? Why? The descriptors of 2 compensable factors or 3 are tallying with 1 grade, and descriptor of 1 is tallying with a higher grade. So, for example, if you have more compensable factors, will your challenge become much more? Okay, so therefore in job grading, typically you will limit yourself to those very core compensable factors, or at best 5 or 6. You can have any number of grades, but you will have typically 4 or 5 compensable factors. But on the other side, in a point plan, you can have 10 or 15 compensable factors. Okay, but your grades, your degrees, we'll talk about that. So you can have compensable factors even like, on the higher side, max even 10 compensable factors, depending on the organization's characteristics. That's it. So step 1, compensable factors. Step 2, you have to then say the scale, or how many degrees of differentiation will I have? Now, mind you, these degrees of differentiation are not the same as grade. That means in an organization, you have to look at how complex your organization is. Does it have huge variance or not much of a variance? So these degrees, like for example, education, what is that intensity at a degree 1 and what is the intensity at a degree 4? I don't know if you are able to understand what I'm trying to tell you is we are not talking the same as grades. Degrees of differentiation means, for example, an HR manager, say for example, what is the intensity of education? Does she need or he need degree 1 or degree 2 or degree 3 or degree 4? So these degrees will depend on the kind of complexity of your organization. Okay, so you can have at best 4 degrees or 5 degrees. Don't have degrees of differentiation to the extent of 10 or 15 because then it become very, very complex. Typically, you must have not more than 6. So here I have given 4 degrees. Degree 1, you can also call them levels or you can call them scales. But typically when you're doing a point plan, the exact word in any book you'll have is degrees of differentiation. Okay, let me just show you what a degree of differentiation looks like for you to understand better. Just a moment. Yeah. So if you look at this, say for example, knowledge is a degree of differentiation. Okay. At a first degree, if you see, the intensity or the level is just use of reading and writing, adding and subtracting of whole numbers. Whereas if you look at a 5th degree, look at the complexity, use of higher mathematics involved in the application of engineering principles, together with comprehensive knowledge of theories and practices of various engineering fields, equivalent to complete 4 years of technical. So if you look at a definition at a 1st degree is much simple. But if you look at the definition at a 5th degree is much more complex. So when we look at the point plan process, typically a point plan process looks like this. What does it mean? It will have compensable factors. It will have degrees of differentiation. Then we will have weights and then we will populate the plan. So a point plan looks like this. So let me give you an example of a point plan so that you are able to understand better. Where is that gone? Yeah. Okay, come back to this. So what is step 1? Compensable factors. How many degrees do I have here? Anybody? Just to know that you all are there. Anybody?
4.
4 degrees. Okay.
4.
Degree 1, degree 2, degree 3, degree 4. Now, this is step 2. Okay. This is step 2. Step 3. Now, you have to then weigh your compensable factors as to what is, because not every compensable factor will be of equal priority. So you have to give weightage. Step 3. So overall, which will be higher, which will be lower? So if you notice, I've given weightage. Education 20, work X 20, span of control 25, creativity 35. Do not give weightage to any compensable factor more than 50 because then it gets skewed. Okay. Now, having done that, the last step, step 4, what you need to do, populate your point plan. When I say populate your point plan, now here the point plan is 400 points. So what will you do? You will then multiply this weightage with this degree. 20 multiplied by degree 1, 20, 40, 60, and 80. Again, 20 into 1, 20, 40, 60, 80. 25, 50, 75, 100. So you have to populate your point plan so that at degree 1, when you add up all those points at degree 1 for compensable factors, it is 100, 200, 300, and 400. So the total point plan of this is 400 points. Very clear? Can you give me a thumbs up how to create a point plan?
Could you please repeat this, ma'am?
Which one? Yeah. How do you create a point plan? A, compensable factors. degrees of differentiation, write all the descriptors, okay? And then what you're going to do the step 3 weightage, and then multiply the weightage into degrees so that you will get a point plan.
Ma'am,
So
these
weighting-
degrees is something which, is there any basis of developing those degrees, or we just put, like, how do we have those different 4 or 5 degrees? Like,
Yeah, so you have to decide on the complexity of your organization, whether you want to have just 3 degrees or 4 degrees or 5 degrees. I said in general, you will have mostly 6 degrees. Degrees are nothing but levels of complexity. Say in your organization, yours is a very complex organization where you use a lot of, education, lot of kinds of education. So that means quite complex. So you might have at a degree 1, which is at a level 1, lower level, just simple as ITIs or simple graduations. But you might have even, if it is a pharma organization, you might have something like a, for R&D, doctorates, PhDs, right? So
Right.
depending on the complexity of an organization, you will decide on the levels or the degrees. So typically, how do you take your lowest job, take your highest job, and then see what is the kind of education your lowest level of job has and the highest job. Then that will also explain to some extent the complexity of the degrees. Okay.
Is there any science or is there any method for minimum and maximum degree, like to consider as a, or is it any thumb rule around it?
No. There is no thumb rule. So typically, you are going to look at, say, your 20 positions or 50 positions across the organization. See, the highest jobs typically, what kind of qualifications are there? The lowest job. What does it mean, degrees? If, say, for example, if your levels are only 3 and you have positions, now the intensity, I'll just take education, required for a position. The intensity of education required for a position. So if you are saying level 1 or degree 1, that means that's the lowest level of education required. If you say degree 3 or degree 4, so you typically do this exercise by taking the lowest level of job and what kind of an education is required, and the highest level of jobs, what kind of educations are required. That will also help you to understand what kind of degrees or what kind of levels you will require. If you see an organization which is highly technical, so there the degree of education will be more numbers, right? But if you see that the process is not complex, then will it require higher level of education? Not much. A chip company might have much more degrees, much more levels, right?
How to arrive to that maximum degree? It is a 200. Just the way you mentioned, the good practice of weightage.
So you're talking about points.
Yeah. So the way you mentioned, the weightage shouldn't be. It will not be a good idea to have greater than 50 as a weightage, right?
Yes.
Similarly, is there any guidance on the degree, that maximum degree? Then we can work backward and then populate across the levels, or
okay. So when you're saying how will I actually have these degrees, before even you put a numerical on a degree 1, you will have to actually look at what is my kind of process, what is my workflow, how, what kind of jobs are there, what kind of requirements are there with reference to these compensable factors. Okay. For example, I'm just giving you, there is a very simple, in a manufacturing organization, the workflow process is very, very simple. So obviously the kind of education required will be, a minimum will be just an ITI and a max maybe, an engineer or so, where the process is very simple. So that means what, your degree could be at best, levels could be at best 3. But whereas if you are looking at a defense equipment organization where it is very highly complex and sophisticated, so the lowest level of job might need just, maybe an ITA, but the highest level of education required might be very, very complex. Additional, it could be a PhD, it could be a lot of, certifications, etc. Okay, so a committee, a compensation committee will actually, it is not a single person who will decide on all this. So you'll need to form a 3 or 4 member committee who will have a good understanding of the organization, and then say, hey, we can have 3 degrees, 4 degrees, or 5 degrees. That means levels. Now, I don't want to introduce this complex. Now, having said that you can have 3 degrees or 4 degrees, it is not necessary that all the compensable factors should have the same number of degrees. Okay? One compensable factor can just have 2 or 3 degrees. Another compensable factor can have 5 degrees. So it depends on the requirement. Degrees is nothing but it is the level, or it is the complexity, or it is the intensity of that compensable factor required for that position. Okay, got it? When you work on this, when you just look at it, it might be difficult, but when you're going to really work on it now, it will become much more simpler. Okay, I'll be there with you to guide you. All right. So weightages, as I said.
One more thing, actually, before you go ahead.
Pardon?
Is there any range that we need to determine on this? Like you just mentioned, I'm just adding on what Bhupesh has told, like just to understand a little better. Just mentioned 20, 40, 60, 80. So is it any something range, like it should be a degree should be between 10 to 100? We have to determine the intensity of the each compensable factor, something like that?
No. So when we're talking about this 20, 40, 60, how did we arrive? First of all, we are looking at what is the level of complexity of this organization. Based on that, I'm going to assign degrees, okay? Or levels. You can call them degrees. Degrees is nothing but differentiation.
Yeah, understood. I'm asking, is there any range? Like, can I even put 200 or 300, 400, like degree or level?
No. So there is a science behind it. So depending on the complexity, it can be a 400-point plan, or a 500-point plan, or a 1500-point plan. Now here, since we are having 4 degrees, it is a 400-point plan. Okay, 400-point plan. How did we arrive at that 400-point plan? Here, simple. What will be the weightage? All the compensable factors are not of the same priority. So you will have weightages. Who will decide these weightages? The committee who has a good understanding will decide on, hey, ours is a startup. We'll need more work-ex. Or somebody where it's it's having arrived kind of thing, they will focus more on education. They will focus more on maybe creativity, etc. So depending on the life cycle of the organization, depending on the complexity, scale, etc., these weightages are given. So for example, I've given weightages here like 20, 20, 25, 35. So you can also have different kind of weightages. Done? Now, simply you just have to multiply this weightage with this degree. That's it. If you have noticed, I multiplied weightage with the degree.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it bigger. 20 into 1. So you just have to populate it. It's called, populating the point plan. And then when you add up, you should get 100, 200, 300, and 400. Got it? Okay. Now, having done that, I want you all to take just 5 positions. All right? Any 5 positions. Now, take a job description. After having, so what I want you all to stay with in your previous work is stay with the compensable factors. Fine tune your descriptors. Here you cannot have anything overlapping. If you have written a descriptor here, work-ex 0 to 2, necessarily it has to start from 3 to 5. Sorry, I put it here 2. Because you are assigning points. So you can't have, in a grading, you can have some overlaps. But here, descriptors cannot overlap. All right. For example, education, you have put as ITI. Then necessarily the next level should be higher than the previous degree. You cannot have the same thing or overlapping. Got it? Okay. Now, having said that, you try to fine tune your descriptors, create a populate the plan, and then evaluate the job and assign points. Now, how do you do that? So say, for example, I have a position which job description as a HR team lead. As per the job description. Now, I will say, hey, education, the education for this HR lead is, say, for example, a post-graduation. Okay. So how many points will I give? 80 points. I'm not going to, it's not grades. Okay. Now for this HR team lead, work experience, it's just about, say, if I want to look at work X, say for example, work X is 0 to 2 years. How many points will I give?
20.
20 points.
20
And
points.
span of control, say this person is an individual contributor, I'll just give 25 points. So what am I trying to do? I can assign point values based on the job description. So I can go crisscross. I can assign a 20 point, I can assign a 40 point. I can also assign here 75 point, depending on what the job description needs and what the descriptor says. Got it? I don't have to go just like a grading all in the same thing, grade 1 or grade 2 or grade 3. So that is the beauty of this point plan, that I can assign point values based on the requirement, and then come to a total point value. Okay. So I want you all to do just 5 positions. It's a little complex, but I will be there to handhold you guys. Okay. So start populating the plan and then I will come and help with it. So how was the exercise? What challenges?
I think weightage was one of the areas, Nirmala, initially, what should be the weightage?
Weightage of the
you know,
compensable.
Right.
So typically
Right.
when you are actually doing weightage, so it is not just one person, because the business heads across all the functions, they come together, they then, because they have a very good understanding, then basis of their understanding and also basis of the business strategy and also basis on what is very, very critical. So then they assign weightages. Okay. So that's how weightages happen. Even the degrees, somebody was wanting to know how do I assign degrees. Degrees also based on the complexity of the organization, scale and scope of the organization. You look into degrees, whether you want to have fewer degrees or more degrees. But in any case, an ideal degree is should not be less than 3 and should not be more than 6 or 7. For example, if you have less degrees, say just 3 degrees, okay, that is level 1, level 2, level 3. Now, if you have a job, then where will you fit in? Unless and until you have a descriptor there. So it has to also allow in terms of the complexity as to where can I assign points. So that is how, if the jobs are complex, then you'll have more degrees. Having said that, now, I only asked you to calculate the total point value. Now, what you must have done is step 1, compensable factors, step 2, degrees of differentiation, step 3, weightages, then populating the plan. All this you have done. Then you took 5 positions and then you have assigned points to which degree that job requires, maybe to degree 1 for education, maybe to degree 2 for work X, again, maybe degree 3 span of control. So depending on the requirement or the intensity of that compensable factor, you have assigned the degree and the points thereof. Then you have calculated all the points of those compensable total point value, which has all the points for the 4 compensable factors. That's how you must have done, right? For example, here, I've just given, so there are 10 positions. This is another case study. So I have calculated total point value for these positions and I have given here, depending on their job description. So the team lead to 220, 365, 345, 245. I've done an evaluation and come to this conclusion. Now, which position do you think is the highest position? Position with the highest points. Which is that position here? Can you make out?
Technical chief.
Technical
365,
chief,
yeah.
right? 380. And the lowest?
380, yeah. 220.
Sorry,
Yes,
200 is
first
there.
Engineer.
There are 2 positions, 200, 200, right?
Yeah.
So after having evaluated and arrived at point value like this, what you do now is these point values you will have to assign called going to do use a statistical tool called regression. Okay, why? You want to predict the salary. Hey, what salary should I pay for these positions? One, you have done the job evaluation. The outcome of the job evaluation is this point value. Now you have to get market data and then predict the salary. So how will you do that? Now we are going to do regression. So these point values are all X, because regression is done with two variables. One is an independent variable and the other is a dependent variable. The independent variable in a regression is always called X and the dependent is always called Y. The dependent is the market salary. Even in cluster analysis, you all did the market salary. So here, for example, I have 10 positions. I was able to get data matching apples to apples for only, say I left purposely one position. Say for 9 positions, I have the market data. Have you understood till here? This is the total. This is the market data. Have you understood this part?
Yep.
Now for regression, you have to calculate two values. The two values are what? Slope and intercept. Now, how do you calculate slope and how do you calculate intercept? Simple. All that you need to do is go to FX. Okay, let me just do this. Yeah. Go to formula. Okay. And then in formula, ask for, can you see slope here?
Yeah.
All of you? Slope? Then I
Yeah.
say, okay. Now it is asking for known y's and known x's. Okay, click on that and known y's. Which is my known y? This one. I add this. Okay. Now known x's. Click on this. Click on this. Then only up to this. All right. Now, okay. What's the value? Slope value is 413.56. I can always 0.568. We can round it off to 569. This is my slope value. The other value I have to calculate is intercept. I will explain what is slope and intercept later, guys. You'll get confused. Right now, we will just go by slope and intercept values. Now, again, for intercept, what will you do? Anybody?
Formula again.
Yeah. FX. Intercept. Okay. Known y's. Then known x. Then, okay. So what is the intercept value? Minus 64,400. Come minus, I'll also explain to later. Okay. Now that you have calculated slope value and intercept value, there's a formula. The salary of a HR team lead you need to give is what the formula is. The salary Y is equal to slope multiplied by the point value plus intercept. All right. What is the slope value? Slope value is
413.
Say for example, if I want to calculate here, put the, so can you see the formula? Slope values, I just rounded it off, 414 multiplied by point value. What is the point value? 220. Then because intercept is minus 64,426 and I get a value. This is the salary I need to pay, 26,654. Now you may say, ma'am, but you have not got the market salary for senior engineer. Now, please listen to me carefully. Now, in your organization, 60 positions, you can always get market data, but it's a unique organization where 5 to 10% of the jobs are unique and you cannot get market data. You cannot benchmark with any position. Then in such a case, what will you do? So in such a case, there will be like this position called senior engineer. where you will calculate the point value, but you don't need market data. Most of the consulting companies, what will they do? You only need slope value and intercept value, which you already have. And with slope value and intercept value, you can calculate the salary. That's how consulting companies do. Have you got it, guys? Have you understood now?
Yeah.
Now,
Nirmala, I have a question here. This is Ratna. So you mean to say that the payable salary for a particular role can be done only for those unique roles without obtaining the market data, or we can do it for any other roles as well? I mean, where market data is available.
Yeah. So typically, most of the consulting organizations, when they do a point method, okay, what we do is called the regression. All right.
Okay.
I will also show you the graph and how you can really appreciate how interesting it is. First, I thought I'll just show you this. So when you do a regression, we have to calculate slope value and intercept value. All right. Now you mentioned about, say, for example, I have here, there are only 10 positions. So I have in my organization, say 100 positions. You may have number of people working in different, in the same position, 10 people, 20 people. I'm talking about 100 positions. Okay. Now you have done job evaluation for those 100 positions and calculated what? Point values. Got it? That's clear, that aspect?
Right.
Okay. Now, 5 to 10% of those positions, maybe you are a very unique organization where there are 5 to 10% of jobs which cannot be matched with the market.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, how will you calculate salary for them, or how will you predict salary? But yet it has to be competitive and it has to have fairness in the way you are paying vis-a-vis the other jobs, right?
Right.
Okay. How will you do that? So even if I'm not having market data, what will I do? For maximum number of jobs, I have already got market data. So what am I doing? I'm already calculating slope value and intercept value. Got it?
Right.
So I don't need market data for those 5% jobs. I can still calculate what is that I need to pay them based on these two values. Am I clear now?
Okay, but market salary is for other different positions. That doesn't make any difference, right? But still we can.
No, you have already got market data for the other positions, no?
Right.
When I'm saying internal equity, that means you have a point value also. If you are paying 365 this much, then I'm going to calculate slope and intercept and say for 225, because I've already done the job evaluation part. The outcome job evaluation is point value. I already know how many points you have. What is the point value of that job?
So here points also plays a major role.
Obviously, every point is money.
Right. Understood.
So I won't do in 10 minutes like this.
Okay? No. It's a very huge exercise.
Absolutely, because you'll have a lot of stakeholders. And if I say I don't know, I'm just taking Meena, you are in this position as an HR manager and your total points are 400. You'll say, no, ma'am. No, last year it was calculated for, I have to check again, because it has to also have the buy-in from the
stakeholders.
Doing it. So there's a huge exercise. We are only getting into the technology part here, but that communication and how do you go about, you have to go back again, right? What is the advantage of Hey when you use? They have data of all the organizations across different industries, so they will also validate it and say, hey, and they will also have this what we call as profile. So KH and PS and accountability.
Right.
Similar jobs are having this much. Now you can't say, based on your job description, your points will be higher. Got it? So there is validation to it. But similar thing can be done here also. But right now, I'm just focusing on the technology part of it. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Now, having said that now, first of all, it's very simple. You have calculated like that, but then there's another method. What I do is select. First of all, this, you need to select and check whether there's correlation when you are collecting market data. So what did I do? I selected data of X and Y. Then I need to go to, 1 second. Let me put this up. Yeah. Where is that insert? Yeah. Insert. Okay. And then go to chart and scatter. So did you get that? Now click on this, right click, add trend. Okay. Now I will also say display equation, display R square. Can you see my graph here? Can you
Yes.
see this?
Yes.
Can you see that you've got your slope value here? Can you see this?
It is trying to absorb.
Huh? Yeah. Let it sink in. Are you understanding what I said? You can do the same thing in a graph form. And you can then say this R square, what you got here. That means these positions are, so this is called your best fit pay line. Okay. Now 99%, that means your market data is dependent 99% on your point value. Only 1% varies for different things. So typically when you're doing a regression, you must ensure that your R square is not less than 85. That is 0.85.
Is it something like we can interpret that if the R square is less than 85, that we are underpaying?
No. That means the market data, there are other factors which are impacting.
Acha, okay.
There are other factors which are impacting.
Understood.
Got it? Okay.
Right.
So what I want you all to do is give you very interesting homework, guys. You know what? She is going to give you data where there will be point values worked out, where to some extent market salary is already there. What you need to do is you have to predict the salary. What salary will you be paying? That means in your organization, after having done the point value, that is job evaluation, after having done the market data, then using a regression, you have to calculate slope and intercept value and then predict. Let me go back to predict the salaries. Okay. Now, this is a little complex and this homework might be a little tough. So feel free, even on a one-on-one basis, if you want to reach out to me and get an understanding. But this is really very critical and heart of this entire program, because it is very, and once you get a hands on this, wherever, huge value addition for you. Okay. So what I want you all to do is this entire thing of determining compensable factors, assigning values, calculating point value, creating a populate plan. These are things which can be done, but Vilma will give you a homework where all this has been done. You only have to predict salaries. Got it? Okay. But in your organization, you can actually do this point plan. Any questions? It's too much to take in just 3 hours. It's a lot. That's why I extended my help, saying that if even on a one-on-one you want help, please let me know. Just text me and we can take some time off and I can definitely help you with the better understanding. But what I want you all to do, if you want to be very perfect in job evaluation, go back, read the material, look at this exercise, and then come back to me and say, hey, ma'am, why do you think we should be doing like this? Why can't we do the other way around? You can ask me. Got it?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And yeah. Meena or Ratna, I think. Ratna wanted to know, are we doing hey? Yeah. Now having done the point plan, Ratna,
yep.
So here we have done these compensable factors. But in hey, when we do in the third session there in the beginning, we'll tell you that hey has these compensable factors. Okay, now these are given, it's patented, so you can't change them. Hey has also populated a plan. You have those populated plans already. Okay, it's given, you can't change. All that you need to do as an evaluator is look at the job description, circle the values, and then calculate the total point plan. And the rest is the same. You do regression, everything is the same. Are you with me?
Yes, yes. Only thing is I am looking for an understanding as how to, relate the points to a job.
Yeah. We'll be doing a small exercise on that. Absolutely.
Next session, right? Okay.
Yeah, next. We'll touch upon A. We will give you a little overview of what are those compensable factors in A. Then what does a populated plan looks like there, because it comes, a
Predefined values.
preset for
Yeah.
it comes in 3 sets for small scale, middle, and also for large. Okay. And then how do we go about? How do we assign for problem solving, for know-how, for accountability? How does that, then end up into a total point plan for a job? So we'll do one. We'll take a case, an example, just one job, and do the computation.
Okay. When is this next session? We have anybody from Merit now?
Yeah, next Sunday.
Okay, next Sunday itself. Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So as I said, you can feel free to ask for any clarification, guys. It's a little technical and complex. So Vilma will be sending out the homework for you all. And it's a very interesting exercise. Please do that. Okay. Any questions before we sign off? Bhupesh?
Do we have a WhatsApp group for the entire batch?
Yeah. It's already there.
I think,
Bhupesh, any questions?
I think it's more complicated. Now I understand how my team is struggling, and I only keep asking questions to them.
It is, but if the more you practice it, and then I think then
I know it's more of a practice, but I will definitely bother you.
No problem. Feel free.
I will first read through the notes and whatever I'm able to capture, but it's too tough for me. I know that, but I will try to.
Sure.
We will be getting the PPT also.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes, Ratna. What's your query? No. As I said, if there is any WhatsApp group for this entire batch, can you please add me to that? That's what I was asking.
Okay. Yes. I will add you to the group.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And take care. I know it was a lot for you all to take in today. All right. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Good night. Bye.